This is the matching tallboy chest to the long 9-drawer dresser that I just finished. And I'm going to be refinishing this the exact same way. Same color, same paint, same overall look. At first glance, this might look like the easier piece. The original finish is in much better condition. All of the hardware is still here, and structurally it's solid, but there is one issue that's going to need some extra attention. There's a large chunk missing out of the back corner of the top, the kind of damage that would normally push a piece into the not worth it category for a lot of people. But because this dresser belongs to a set, it's definitely a problem we're solving. When furniture stays together as a set, it's easier for someone to say yes. There's less imagining, fewer compromises, and a much better chance that it actually gets used and kept long term. And for people who are flipping for a profit, sets can actually make great sense financially since they often sell together at a higher price point. And even though I'm not refinishing for a profit in the traditional way, I do care a lot about where these pieces end up and how long they stay out of the landfill. These drawers are so beautifully clean inside, but they're a little wonky and hitting and sticking in a few different spots when you open and close them. Sometimes you get lucky and all the drawers are marked right from the factory with which slot they're supposed to go in, but somehow I've ended up with 2 number 1s and a 2 that looks like it was changed to a 3. They're just all in the wrong order, so I'm going to keep switching them around until I figure out this puzzle. A lot of you already know this, but for my newer furniture friends, when I first started refinishing furniture way back in 2018, I was reselling pieces the traditional way. I'd fix them up and sell them on Facebook Marketplace to make a profit. That's how this business began. But as my YouTube channel grew and I was able to start earning income from videos like this one, it gave me a little more flexibility and I was able to change how I did things. Now, instead of needing to sell every piece, I'm actually able to donate most of the ones that I share here back into my community. The goal stayed the same, keep good furniture out of the landfill and be able to pay my bills. But this approach lets me keep doing the creative side that I love, lets you see the entire process from start to finish, and make sure that the furniture goes on to have a good, long life. And it means that I don't have to deal with all the tire-kicking customers online anymore. Anyway, now that I know which spot each of these is supposed to live in, they can all come out. I'll get the hardware taken off and collect it all in a cup so I don't lose anything, and then I can clean. This one track has fallen off, but I'm just going to pull out the staple that's not doing what it's supposed to, lay this back in place, and then just pop a screw into the back here to hold it. And then this drawer won't be able to move side to side so much. All of the tracks inside the chest look like they're in good shape too. Often, if a drawer isn't moving properly and you know it's in the right spot, either the guide on the drawer or the track that it slides on are loose or broken. I like to clean before I start any kind of filler repairs or sanding most of the time because I want to make sure that all of the surfaces that I'm finishing are completely free from all the regular dirt and grime that collects over the years, but especially any silicone residue from furniture polishes, because nothing will stick to that. And if you sand it down into the surface, then it's so much harder to deal with if you need to. Simple Green does the trick for me, but any cleaner that's got a good degreasing agent will work. Cred Cutter, Dawn dish soap, TSP, there are lots of options. Just be sure to follow the instructions on whatever product you choose and make sure that you rinse it off really well afterwards if it needs it. This is also a really good time to get up close and personal with every single surface, and I always end up with a mental list of things that need attention, like little pinholes, seams, and damage that I just didn't notice at a glance. You get a good lesson on how furniture is constructed and all the different materials that are used too, because a ton of the stuff that people assume is solid wood is actually built with some sort of mix of particle board or MDF that they didn't know about. There's not too much on here that needs filler, but to deal with the giant injury to the back corner, I'm going to use this epoxy putty from Mohawk. This comes in a ton of different wood colors, but I've got a tube of walnut open and I already know I'm painting, so the color doesn't really matter. But this is kind of like a more moldable version of Bondo. It cures via a chemical reaction that starts to happen when you knead the two different colors together. And once it's done curing, it's rock hard. It does start that process pretty quickly though once you mix it up. So you've only got a few minutes to get it where you want it. I'm just going to smush this right into all of the good jagged particle board texture so it can hang on, and then try and rebuild a rough version of the shape I want. If it's still workable once I've got this sorted, I'll fill in all the other chips around the edge banding with whatever's left over too. I gave the putty about an hour to fully set, so now I'm ready to start sanding. I'll use the sander to refine the shape of this corner and then just keep going over all the rest of the surfaces to remove any loose finish, buff out any more minor dings, and create some really good micro texture in this shiny factory finish for my primer to adhere to. I've got 120 grit on here, and I'm going to switch that out to a medium grit foam abrasive pad to go over all of the trim work and the detailed drawer fronts so that I can do what I need to without worrying about grinding anything flat. As we learned with the matching dresser, these fronts that look like solid oak are actually hollow plastic panels, which, although I'd already decided to paint before I knew that, really sealed the deal on the finish options for both pieces. These couldn't be stripped and stained even if I wanted to because they're just not wood. The grain that's on there is a picture of wood, but not the real thing. I'm going to slide this up onto some dollies so I can move it around a little easier. And I need to fill in the seams on the front here where the trim doesn't quite come together. It's one of those details that nobody really notices when everything is dark and brown, but once it's painted, that stuff will slap you right in the face. This paintable caulking will give the fill a tiny bit of flex if it's needed when the furniture gets dragged across the floor. Not that any of us would ever drag a massive piece of furniture across the floor. Never. We would never do that. I just shove it in there with my finger and then use a damp rag to wipe away the excess and smooth out the gap. While that is drying, I need to wrap all of these drawers with some masking plastic to keep them looking clean. You could paint with the drawers inside the chest, but you still have to pull them all out and paint around the edges and the frames behind them. This is just the method that works best for me. My ride or die primer, even though we had an issue with the spray can version crackling last time, is this bin shellac primer. Shellac is a great blocker for odors and stains, and it sticks to everything. So I know it's going to bond really well with both the wood veneer on the body and the plastic on the drawers. It's also going to unify all of the different surfaces and textures that I've got going on now so that the paint looks the same and sits the same over everything. I spray most of my finishes, but I don't put this stuff through my sprayer because, like I said, it sticks to everything and it is a disaster to clean up. A cheap microfiber roller gets it on, and then I don't have to worry about ruining my equipment. My primer layer is dry. I don't see any issues popping through, so it's going to get a quick sand with a fine grit sanding sponge this time, just to smooth out any roller texture or little pieces of lint that got stuck in it. This is pretty good at highlighting any spots that might need some more filler too, but I don't really see anything. So once I get this all sanded and dusted off, I can move on to paint. Just like its mate, this one is getting painted in Sherwin Williams Gallery Series paint in the color Dumpling. This is a professional grade cabinetry paint that cures super fast to a super hard and durable finish. And this light neutral off-white color should make the dressers easy for their new owner to work into their own decor. I always pour my stuff through a strainer to make sure there are no surprise clumps or chunks that might clog up my spray gun. And once this filters through, I'm going to start spraying on a light coat. Multiple lighter layers will help the paint dry and cure properly. Instead of trying to lay down all the paint in one go, that might make it take longer to dry and cause it to either drip or maybe even crack. I use a gravity-fed HVLP pneumatic spray gun with a really large air compressor as my main setup, but I do also have a Wagner Flexio electric sprayer that doesn't need the massive air tank, and it does a pretty good job too. It's just not as fine of a mist, but it still works if you don't have a compressor. The first coat is dry and I can see a few spots that I want to add some filler to, and this joint on the side is going to bother me. So I'm going to sand again, dust off again, fill that in with a little bit more caulking, and then spray on the next coat. Second coat is dry. I think I'm good with how everything is looking filler wise, but I do want to put down one more layer of paint, mostly just to build up the surface and durability a tiny bit more. I don't feel like I need to sand this time, but I am going to remove any of the overspray dust that dried in the air and has settled on the surfaces before I start with my last bit of paint. I've soaked these French provincial style poles in some vinegar and hot water to loosen up the junk that is clinging in the details. These are so gross. So now I'm going to scrub them all, rinse them, let them dry, and then brighten them up with some fresh gold spray paint. I was missing a few of these on the other dresser, so I ended up swapping them out for some plain round knobs on the top 3 drawers. I did think about doing the same thing to the top drawer of this, but ultimately decided just to keep all the originals on here instead. I should have taken care of this before I even started priming, but I do want to sand off this factory overspray on the sides of the drawers. And once I've got them cleaned up, I'll work in some beeswax conditioner into the bare wood to seal and protect it from marks and absorbing odors in the coming years. I'm also going to rub down the wood tracks and the metal glides with it, so it helps them move easier too. All right, I think I'm done. A little bit of a rinse and repeat situation from last week's project. I definitely could have refinished both pieces at the same time, but for my own sanity and to keep the risk of me tripping over drawers to a minimum, breaking it up worked better. These pieces that were listed for free on Facebook Marketplace and had absolutely no interest, that were then almost taken to the dump, are now completely refreshed and ready to easily fit into a new home. I really hope this gave you some good ideas and techniques to maybe use on one of your own projects one day. Thank you so much for hanging out with me through another one, and I will catch you all next time.